Welcome to All Horse Racing All the Time. I'm your host, Al. On this show, we're going to be covering all of the big Pegasus Cup Day races at Gulfstream Park, analysis for the Rainbow Six races, the big stakes races, 8 through 13. The final race on the card is the $3 million Pegasus Cup. And I'm going to be joined by a guest today. Many of you know him as from The Sopranos, seasons 3 to 6, Eugene Pontecorvo, actor Robert Funaro. He's been in movies before, American Gangster, The Irishman. He has a new movie coming up, Law and Order, Ray Donovan, recurring roles on TV series. He's also an excellent player who's joined me here in the past, horse player, very knowledgeable, produced some big winning hits on the show. And he's going to be joining us right now. Robert Funaro. Bobby, how you doing today? Thanks for joining us.
Okay, it's great to be here, Alan. Thanks once again. Once more onto the breach of handicapping. Once more onto the breach.
A big day here coming up, the Pegasus Cup Day. I wanted to ask you about something about The Sopranos. It was the 25th anniversary of the Sopranos. You celebrated Danico's. How did that go? Who was there? How did it go? 25 years. It's amazing. It just
that was just tremendous. It was a real tremendous occasion. Everyone was there. David Chase, Steve Sharippa, Danny Grimaldi, Jason Serbone, Matt Weiner, the writers, Eileen Landris, producers, Jeff Marchetti, Phil Abrams, cinematographer / director, a very good handful of the actors in production were there, and it was a tremendous restaurant, Danico's restaurant on Mulberry Street. I definitely promote that place because it's really delicious food there, and it was just wonderful. It sounds like 25 years went so fast, Alan.
I'll tell you, and congratulations again on landing that role of Eugene, and to survive on the show for 4 seasons, 3 to 6. That's a hell of an accomplishment because so many big names come on there and they go on for a couple episodes and they're just gone. But you created the character. Great job.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now this Pegasus Cup, we're going to be looking at we talked a bit on the phone last night, looking over some of the races, and we've prepped. We're not coming in there and just hacking it here. We've looked over these races very closely, and we're going to be breaking it down and give you the selections who we like. So I'm going to bring up the first race, which is the 8th, and the races we're covering here are the races that are also involved in the Rainbow Six. And they're all huge stakes races. And the 13th final race of the card is, of course, the Pegasus Cup. And so it's going to what is it called? It's going to build like a mountain towards the big race. And we're going to be looking these over. It starts in race 8. So make sure you have your pens out. You want to take note of these. Take note of who you might want to use in these rolling pick 3s. Pick 4s, pick 5s, maybe the Rainbow Six, of course. And this way you have in mind, you can keep it in mind. What horse do you want to keep an eye on? And just because Robert picks a horse or I pick a horse, we're not by any stretch of the imagination trying to talk you off your horse. You can always add another horse, but they're horses to keep in mind. So you may want to jot these down and have pen and paper ready. And if you don't catch something, you can always go back and watch from the beginning. And the first race, they start us off with a 1.5 mile race on turf. A 1.5 mile, that's as long as the Belmont Stakes. And it's a G3 event, the William L. McKnight Stakes, 1.5 miles on turf. And
great.
I see the pace of this going 8 being the main pace and 3 maybe being the second pace. But what do you think about this race, Bobby?
Well, I think it's not as competitive as Foreman McKnight's. It's one that I think that there could be a breakout window. We might have a very good horse here for the handicappers who can bet responsibly. We always say to bet responsibly, not over your head. You have a bankroll, go with your bankroll. If you have $100 bankroll, $50 bankroll, then you got to bet in the $50 bankroll range, which is $2 bets, $5 bets. And if you have a $100 bankroll, you can maybe increase your bets. But once you have, and I say this is very hard to do because we all want to get out, so to say, when you're not winning. Once you have exceeded your bankroll or you spent your bankroll, it's the best thing to do is to walk away and know that there's going to be another race, another day, another Champions Day, like the Pegasus Cup day. Now, what do I feel about this race? Well, I don't feel it's as competitive. I think I think that we could. It's a grade 3. There's a horse that I like in here. I mean, I truly like the 7 horse, Brendan Walsh's horse.
9-2. Okay.
Yeah, he's 9-2. He's a $325,000 horse.
Wow.
He's bred in Kentucky. I know Brendan doesn't have a great ROI, but my brother was pointing out today that so Chad Brown is not very good. He hasn't really been exceedingly good at the track here. Also, I mean, he hasn't had a lot of wins himself. You know what I mean? The trainer he's $1.48. He's got a 69% win rate here, 61 to 80 days. So Brendan hasn't been doing great, but at the same time, I think he's got 1 win since the beginning. He's won. He got 30 starts, I think. I'm right. Right, Alan? If he's got 30, he's got 1 win, right?
He has 1 win in 30 starts, and I'm looking at you're talking about 1 win in 30 starts. Chad Brown, believe he's started this meet off. I'm looking at him 0 for 26.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
It's hard to believe. Yes. 0 for 26, yeah.
Okay. But overall, these guys are strong. Brendan Walsh is 17% overall.
I like the horse. I've watched him run. As we were talking about it last night, it's a 1.5 miles. It's a stamina-based a race. He gets the 7 hole, which is good. He's got Dottori on him, a terrific rider. He likes to close this horse. He ran against some of the horses here. He ran against one of the horse masterpieces in the 1.8 race, but they stretched him out to 1 mile. Well, he's used to about 1.5 miles. He ran at Saratoga 1.5 miles in a grade 2, came in second. He's got this Dottori on him, and there's I think a lot of positives. If you look at his workouts, he's 5 for 24, 2 for 5, 9 for 40. This Red Smith race at Aqueduct, I watched the race, and I thought he was very, very game in the Red Smith race, and also at Kentucky Downs. So very, very. Even though he lost, he was in 5th place. He was only 2.5 lengths off the winner. That's my
blanket finish. And he's 1 for 2 at the distance, and he recorded his best at 1.5 miles. His best career Brisnet number 102. At this distance, 1 for 2 here at 1.5 miles. So we know the distance shouldn't be a problem. And the race you just mentioned, Kentucky Downs, he came in 5th, but only 2.5 back. And that was 1.5 miles. And that's a challenging course. We were talking about that it goes uphill and downhill and weird dimensions going into the turn for home. So that's a real stamina tester. But by the numbers, I'm looking at some of the Thorograph numbers for this one. It's just light years ahead of the others. If you want to put any weight into that,
yeah.
What do you think about that one horse? The opens at 2-1. I'm not crazy about him. I'm not even using him in my top 3 in this race. Francisco.
Well, this is the thing about this race course. As well as I, you need positioning at this race course. I mean, you do need positioning, and that they start on the back stretch, and the horse is not he's got a pace figure of 30. He's going to go away from the back. He's got to Ortiz Irod's got to do a dream trip to get around all these horses. You know what I mean? I like a horse that has a little bit of pace. Now, if you look at, he's got a 54, so he's competitive. For stopping as a 54 rating. Late 99. Um, you know, I think it's important to know that positioning. It really does a lot. It has a lot to do with these races. You know.
And he's a bit of a money burner. He's went off as a big chalk. Three of the last three races here in America had been running in Great Britain, and
Right.
he's only won one of them, and that was at Aqueduct at 1.375 miles. But this one's been burning money, and for me, I'm thinking this race sets up as not so much of maybe I'll do something with an exacta during the race, but I think this is the main stepping stone for this here is beat this number one. And I have a few that I'm going to be using moving forward in either the doubles, certainly the pick three, and work from
He's got to
there.
rally from behind, Alan. He's got to get a very good trip. I know he's 2-1 because of Chad Brown, but if you look at Chad Brown's record here, he's 0 for 26. You know, he's 0 for 26. I have him as 0 for 27. So
Yeah, and even if he wasn't 0 for 26, I think there are others in here that can beat him,
yeah, I don't
including.
think this is a great race here. You know, like with great horses here. So that's why I say, okay, I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with, our horse. Ryan Moore rides the 3. He doesn't win the horse. That's the only thing with this horse. But he is dropping
Yeah,
down.
look at this. I'm going back over to July of 22 on the running lines here on the page. He did no wins in, geez, it's going on almost 2 years in another few
But
months.
he does drop down to this is a grade 3. He does drop down to a grade 3. You know, he's been in grade 1s, and he does make a drop, right? And I don't know, but
It's
he's getting
another Chad
Ryan.
Brown entry.
I don't know. I like horses that, you know.
I kind of like this. I like this one more than the one.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. You know.
And it has a little bit more pace, so it's going to be closer.
Yes.
And this one it's slightly raced. It doesn't win, but it definitely catches paychecks. Out of 18 races, it's a $1.2 million earner.
Yeah.
But it
He is dropping him into a grade 3, and this is not extremely competitive grade 3. You know, he likes the yielding. You know, he likes a little give in the ground. It looks as if he does like that give in the ground. You know, although he ran firm at the Breeders' Cup in Keeneland, at Keeneland, I think 2 years back, and he ran second at. So I mean, it's a grade 1 horse. Pletcher, how's he doing? Chad is well. Yeah, we know about Chad.
Fletcher, how's it?
I wouldn't say he's without a chance. This horse, I think he's a possible. You know.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. The one that catches my eye a little bit. I got to bring it up because it's running some good races this year. At least by the sheets, he's always around. I don't know how much do you put into numbers. I'm looking at 8 Cellist.
Right.
And for underneath, not for the win spot. I think deeper in exotics, but he's running some really low numbers as far as the sheets go. He has some concealed races. As far as you were asking about Pletcher, Grand Sonata. Pletcher's having a pretty good meet, 15 to 67. He's winning 22% here.
Yeah.
And in turf starts, he gets Tyler Gaffleone. What do you think about the 9 with Pletcher and Gaffleone? Are you going to use these at all, or which way are you leaning to as far as?
I like I like my horse. I know he's fresh. You know, he's coming off of a layoff, but I do like. He came off a layoff in Kentucky Downs, and he ran incredibly at Aqueduct. Only lost by 3/4 of a length to Masterpiece and Soldier Rising. So I mean, I'm leaning towards the 7 horse.
Okay,
but
that's my top choice.
I like the breeding. I like the breeding, and Cellist, I'm not sure. Big Blue Kitten, he's a Ramsey horse. I think Ramsey owns this horse. No, Calumet owns this horse, but he is a Big Blue Kitten. Kitten's Joy. They really run well here. I mean, he's got pace, right?
Oh yeah, definitely has pace. He can go fast early if he wanted to. If I was going to use a brown entry, I'm definitely not using the one in Maltese. I would use the Rock Emperor one. Has some solid races in the mix here. He's very consistent. Really, he only has one bad career race at Belmont a year and a half ago, and something went wrong there on a yielding turf surface because other than that, very consistent in his races 2, 3, 4, and 5 back. Put this one in the mix at number 10, Rock Emperor, more so than the 8 that I talked about. What do you think about Rock Emperor?
To me, he's a toss to me.
Toss?
Yeah. I think he's a toss.
Okay, I like 7 best. If I had to single one, I'd single 7. If I were going to add 2 others, I really don't think adding anyone is necessary here in the Maltese. But if I had to add another, it wouldn't be the 1. It would be the 3 or the 10, the other Chad.
Yeah, well, you got to say like the 3 because of the drop down, right?
Yes.
He drops down and he lost by 2.5 with Velasquez on him in a grade 2 at the Fort Lauderdale. Right? Yeah. No, he came in.
Yes.
Fifth
Wait a second.
He came in 5th in the Fort Lauderdale, but he was only 2.5 behind the leaders, right?
2.5 back.
Yeah. He drops down
and you get the jockey upgrade, big jockey upgrade from Declan Cannon to Frankie Dettori.
Well, no, I mean Ryan Moore. I was talking about the 3.
I was looking at the 2.5 back for the 7. Okay, wait a second.
The 7.
Yeah, this one lost by 2.5 too. Okay.
The 7, the 7 definitely. I think he's definitely he's not without a shot.
And then you've got the class drop of the 2. I like more also in this spot. The 3 has a little bit more speed. He's not going to have to overcome as much as say the 1 out of these 2, and opening at almost double the price.
I would say 3-7 here, but you like that you kind of like.
They're my top 2 picks.
You like the cellist a little bit. You were saying, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe underneath if we were doing something with the try. If I had to add a 4th horse, it would third horse. It would be the 10, Chad Brown. And that one opens at 10-1. So
yeah,
by the numbers, and it has won a race at the distance. It hasn't raced here.
Yeah.
Okay, anything to add to that race? I don't have anything.
No, I really can't have nothing to add. My fave in that race is the 7, and I would say 7-3.
I'm on the same 2 as far as my top 2 choices. Okay, on to race number. Okay, we're moving on to the 9th. All right, race number 9. Let's say this race, it's 7 furlongs. It's the Inside Information Stakes. So it sounds like an intriguing race. Okay, G2, it's 7 furlongs on dirt, a tricky little distance here. And this is one we talked about last night, and I see a little something different, a little bit of a wrinkle to add to this, but who do you like in this race, Robert?
I like, I just can't get past the 3. I love the 3. I love the speed. I like Safi. I mean, you could try with Mary Quite Contrary, but I say the winner is the 3, and Mary Quite Contrary will be there too, of course, but I like the 3. I like speed at this track, and it's a highway, and Intrepid Daydream has all the numbers, Safi is what? Safi is 27 wins. Wow. Right.
And this guy, it's like this guy practically owns this place.
Yeah.
And this horse, matter of fact, is a win machine, has won 4 of the last 5, and it has speed, but you notice it really doesn't push it. It kind of likes to track, lay off the leader a length or so back, and then turn it up when it has to. It's won 4 out of 5, and it just missed last race by a half a length. And it goes off as the favorite, overwhelming favorite. It's been favored now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 races in a row, and 9 of the last 10. It's going to be a tough customer. At the distance, it's 1 for 2 in a second. I
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some speed in here, and I
Oh, there
think
will be.
I definitely got to use 3, but I have to use 9 too. They're my 2 top choices because if there is any let up in this, speed duel and somebody doesn't last, this 9 is opens at 2-1. Now the 3 actually opens at what, 5-2? 3 opens 5-2. The 9 opens at 2-1. But a specialist at this distance, at this track, 9 races at Gulfstream has won 7 of 9 in 2 seconds. So it's never finished worse than second at Gulfstream Park. And at the distance, 8 tries at the distance, 4 wins in 3 seconds. So, I mean, you leave this one out of the exactor at your own risk.
Yes, absolutely agree.
And the only time it didn't finish first, second at the distance was last August at Saratoga in a G1 on a real sloppy track. And it got stuck running 5 wide and it went off. It was a G1 and went off at 30-1 and didn't like the wet track. And if you look at its wet track record, it doesn't run well on a wet track. Well, it's 1 for 2, but its high race was actually an 85, which was the clunker it threw at Saratoga.
Right.
So it's expected to be dry. Are you going to be using the 9 in the multi-race plays, or you're just going to try?
I don't think you could throw it out. I don't think you could throw the 9 out. I mean,
Okay.
he's a competitive horse. He just won it. He won it for a mile at Gulfstream. He likes Gulfstream Park, and I don't think he's tossable. I mean, he definitely likes the 7 furlongs too. So it's going to be really Panici's got to get a, Panici's got to, he's got to ride. I think it's Panici on him. He's got to ride.
Yes, Panici's been riding this one forever.
Yeah. So I mean, he knows the horse. It's just that Safi's horse has just got terrific speed.
Gaffleone is riding this one for a second time.
Yeah.
Man, you can't ask for a better jockey switch, really, over to Gaffleone from Toledo, who I'm really not familiar with. I guess he's a Laurel jockey, because that's where I see he was running beforehand.
I say 3-9, but I'm favoring the 3 here.
Okay, I'm favoring the 9 here, but I'm using both.
Okay.
But there's one that I said there's a little bit of wrinkle, and there's one that came to me, and it's the number 8. I'd like your opinion about. It's number 8, Gerrymander. It's a Chad Brown entry with Jose Ortiz. This one has huge early speed, and he usually runs a mile, and he's turning back. Never ran here, so the distance should be no problem. I think if anything, he's going to, be part of the early pace in this race. And his numbers, he does have a huge race 2 back. I don't know. I'm just thinking about the distance. Like if there's any of the speeds that hold up, and you got the breeding into Mischief, and you get Jose Ortiz, who's ridden this one 2 in a row. The race at 1-2 back at Aqueduct, it won by 25 lengths. Wire job with a 112 Brisnet. That's the highest of any race in here.
That's a good point. Klarovich stable. I mean, you got to throw the last race out, and cuts back to 7 furlongs. So, you're right about that. I mean, the bullet work he's training at Payson, which is a deep training center, so he's going to be primed. Chad's going to have him primed up to go. His buyers, in August are pretty high up there, but he hasn't reached that buyer, in December. But there was money track, and the race prior, he did, which he won at 112 at the Aqueduct. So, I mean, he's, definitely in contention. You're right. He gets Jose Ortiz, so it's not impossible.
I'm going to list that as a third.
I like to cut back a little bit,
What's that, Robert?
I kind of like the horse has speed, as you said. If Gerrymander goes out with, and he will, he's not going to let Intrepid Daydream get away. That could be his very big speed duel. You know,
And I think 10 is going to be part of the speed duel too. Has a huge early speed.
yeah.
Olivia Darling with Irod. I mean, that's the only chance these have, and even the one has the speed. I think we're going to get maybe four of them trying to mix it up on the front end here. That's why I just can't leave the 9 out.
No, I mean he's not a bad horse. You know, I just like the home court advantage that the 3 has. You know, and also Mary Cry Contrary. But as
Yeah,
you said, Jerry Mander isn't a slouch horse. It's a horse that, well, we're going to a grade. This is a grade 2, so he's got some proving to do too.
right. He's moving up. He's moving up.
Yeah, you know, he's doing a grade 2, it's a grade 2 horse. You know what I mean? He's definitely moving him in. You know,
If you go
so
back in time, he did win the mother. I guess she did win the Mother Goose Stakes at Belmont. Won a G2 in 2022 by 3 lengths. That was at a mile and a 16th. But it's at Into Mischief, 375K mare. I don't know. It's one I'll keep an eye on and if I really want to spread, would I spread to the 8? I don't know about that. Maybe use an exacta. I'll keep it in mind depending on what we look for in the other races. But I'm pretty confident that the winner is going to come out of either 3 and 9. And at this point, I'll just use those 2, and maybe on a gimmick, do something for a little less with the 8 just in case.
yeah. No, you know,
Any
it's a good point. You pointed out a good, you know, very good. There's a good point you have here. You know,
Yeah. Maybe he should be able to get the distance. Okay, let's see. Okay, anything else there,
that's
Bobby?
about it for me. That's it for me.
Okay, we're gonna stay with it here.
Race
And
10.
for some of you joining us, this is pre-recorded, so sometimes we pause for a second between races, but we're gonna keep going. So we're on to race 10 now. On the Rainbow 6. Are you thinking anything with a daily double with the other 2? Or are you thinking you're waiting to load up for something else? Or
I would,
at this point, I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe a pick 3 after we look at this race starting at 8. But what do you think?
yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not sure about the doubles here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of variables in this race.
Yeah, and there's no sense spreading out wide in these early
Yeah,
doubles like this, and maybe a chalk comes in like the 3 last race, and then you leave a lot of
yeah.
money on the table.
I know, like for my strategy for the Breeders' Cup, it was kind of soured with trying to spread out, you know, across the board with the pick 4s and the pick 5s and I guess the pick 6s, and it was if I would have more concentrated, you know, it's gambling, but you're betting correctly is very important. When you see an opening, it could be one race that you're just right for. To win that one race is good enough. You know, sometimes it doesn't fall in your way to pick 3, to pick 6. It just is not so easy. So, you know, it has to really stand out. And right so far, it doesn't really stand out for what you're saying to me
Yeah, my standout play that I see so far here
in this race, right?
is in the first race we talked about. The 8th is a win play on 7. I think we're gonna get a good price on that with
Yeah,
all the Chad
he's
Brown.
definitely worth definitely a win play. I mean, you don't got to get fancy. He's definitely worth a win play. Maybe to get your money back, a show play. I think he'll be there. So win
Oh
show,
yeah,
you get
if
your money
Force
back.
Smith is the board, that would be a
Place. Yeah, that's a good way to go. I mean, I agree.
yeah, and especially since you got 3 Browns and a Pletcher in there, he's not going to get watered down to nothing, right? Because you got the Brown
Yeah,
enthusiasts that are going to be pouring it on his 2-to-1 shot and the
yeah,
others. So I think we're going to get a price on 7. So I'm definitely going to be using 7 to win, and I think that's going to be my main play there. Okay, so now we're going to move on to race number 10, and we're covering the Rainbow 6 races 8 to 13 in order here. Race 10. All right, this is a 1 1/16 on turf. This one looks like a tough one here for me. I got a number of them.
Philly and Mad Turf.
Yeah, Philly and Mare. It's another G2, the Pegasus World Cup Philly and Mare Turf Invitational, a G2 500K event. So it's a mile and a 16th. I'm looking at the pace here. I see the pace being through the 6 and 8 secondary and 10. But you want to start us off here, Bobby? Who are you looking at?
I looked at it's grade 2.
Yes, 6. Ruby Neal, Frankie Dettori. That one's going to probably try and take him as long as he can, as far as he can. Is he the best horse in there? By the numbers, no, but pace wise, head over heels, faster than the others.
Yeah,
early.
There's a few horses here. They're interesting horses to me, and they have a little bit of value. Okay, and if there is a pace duel, there is a chance that one of these horses could hit the board. Now, the horse, I'll start with this horse that I like in here. Well, one of the horses, he's somewhat favored. The favorite is Star Fortress at a Sea of the Stars. He ran the Cardinal at Churchill at 1.125 miles. He's cutting back to 1.16 miles. That's the 4 horse. I know he doesn't have any pace, but he's a quality horse. He has quality, and he's a favorite. But that being said, and he's run really well. This horse has run well. He's run well in Europe too, in 1.5 miles. They cut him back to 1.16 miles, which is interesting. They cut him back to 1.16 miles. But he is out of a great sire. I like Sea the Stars. Ladies, if they come running late, he'll be there. If they come running late, I mean, he's like a 137 coming at you like a train.
Amazing. Yeah.
And he's got the sires on him. Now, that being said, okay, this horse that's ridden by Jose Ortiz intrigues me a bit. Didier. He's a closer. He's an Argentine bred. I know he didn't do good in the Breeders' Cup. He cuts back a little bit here. I kind of like this horse because of Jose Ortiz. The trip is no problem. I kind of like this horse. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think he's a slouch.
He's one of mine. And actually, the 4 is my top.
And I think Jose gets off another horse to ride him. I think he gets off another horse to ride him. Or Irod gets off Fluffy. Irod's on Fluffy Socks, right? Chad and Fluffy Socks. That might be Chad Brown's. The 7 horse might be Chad Brown's. Maybe good chance for. This might be his best bet of the day. Chad Brown. You get Chad Brown at 9-2. Not a bad bet. I want to point that out also. He's running grade 1 at Del Mar. Not a slouchy horse. What do you feel about the 7 horse?
He's my second choice. I have 4 as my
ain't a bad horse. He's not a bad horse.
My top. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, for Chad Brown horses, I think this is the horse with Irod and him that stands out. And I always say, you get Chad Brown at 9-2, that's a gift.
And this time on paper here, he's tremendous at the.
Is he? Yeah.
He's. I mean, the 4 ran a race last race that is just so far off the charts. With the sheet numbers, the lower the number, the faster the race.
Right.
Let's put it this way: 7 is the fastest horse in this race besides the 4, and he's running a 3 and a 4, another 4 in there. Very fast numbers. I have his as my second choice. Now I'm saying Chad's horse is second fastest, running 3s and 4s. The 4 is coming off a race where it ran a 0, which is just light years faster than the others. Yeah. And you wonder, is it going to bounce off that effort? But it just ran a crazy fast number. But the numbers before that weren't bad either. But it has some time off. They've given it rest. It hasn't raced since November 23rd. I guess that Cherie Duval is giving this one rest, and this one could regress the 4 and still win. But the 7 looks second best, and I like 9 third best. So we're all over the same ones here. And this is one we didn't talk about last night. Yeah. So we just came up.
Didier, Jose.
Didier, look, he's winning all these races. He's won
a weird jockey. Didier
6 out of the last 8.
If
And
you
the
look
two he
at,
lost,
yeah,
he lost only by 3/4 of a length in one. He finished second.
yeah,
Chad Brown, Didier. So you
yeah.
got the Ortiz brothers here on 7 and 9, and the 4. I mean, I think that's as far as I'd go.
I
Maybe
mean,
I do. I think
Belmont,
that's as far as we go.
grade one at Belmont. He ran the grade one, came in second by 3/4 of a length at Belmont. I mean, the horse is not a slouch horse. We're talking grade one, grade two, and the Breeders' Cup. You got to throw it out. I mean, you just got to throw that day out. That was
Mhm.
that's a toss. You know.
And even that wasn't the end of the world. I mean, it only lost by 4.5.
Maybe he doesn't ship well. You know what I mean, Alan? Because if
He
you
got
look at
stuck. Well,
these,
you got stuck 5 wide there.
yeah, if you look at the East Coast, is East Coast starts. One at Santa Anita was better prior. I guess that's how they qualified the Rodeo Drive, and that's how he qualified for the Breeders' Cup. But if you look at his East Coast races, well, ain't nothing wrong with this horse. You know,
Nothing wrong.
and
Nothing wrong with
you
this
got
horse.
6-1. You got value 6-1 with Holt,
Six
one
to
of the
one
best
at the
riders.
9. Holy smokes!
6-1. He's not bad. He's not going to be the first choice. You know, so I mean, it's don't granted, he's got some pay. You know, he's 74. 74. He's going a mile in the 16th. I know he's cutting back, but still great stakes horse. A great,
And,
you know,
and the
a
trainer,
grade one horse, you know.
grade 1, right? Only lost by 3/4 of a length.
They
And you know
say
what?
here,
You know what about that one too is the jockey and trainer Carrillas the fourth, the trainer, and the Jose Ortiz. They work well together. They went together 22% together with a 2.72 ROI. So they come in on longer ones together. I mean, you're making 72 cents on your $2 if you just play these two together all the time to this point. But the
he's been
numbers are
at
there.
Gulfstream. He's been training at Gulfstream. He got back to training at Gulfstream in January. He was at Keeneland. Got the job at Gulfstream in January. You know, came from Argentina. She wasn't beaten that far. This race is mentioned right after the.
This one is always around the wire, if not coming in first. It's amazing, this one. I can't believe it's opening at 6-1. Okay, unless you're talking about 7 here. 7 does have a first of 78 workout on the 13th. I can't see it going past. I think those 3 are enough to get it done. If the 4 doesn't, I think the 4 might get over bet, but if you're playing multis, you can't leave it out.
Yeah.
But 7 and 9, those are the other 2. I did look at 6 a little bit. The one with Frankie Dettori, the one with the big early speed. Do you think this one has any chance to steal this? It is one.
With the Tory horse you're talking about.
6, Ruby Nell in race 10. He's going to be flying early. He's probably going to open up, and the distance here, a mile. And can he steal this? Just on pure speed, he opens at 8-1 for Richard Mandela. 26% trainer, but no body of work to show here at Gulfstream. He's 23% with shippers. It's all about the speed for this one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Any shot?
Well, Ruby Nell.
I have him listed 4th here. Maybe, I don't know.
She's got to stretch out, man. I'm not a lover of her.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of speed in there too. I think the 8 and the 10 might hamper it a little bit early. Those are 2 that we're not using. Queen Goddess and Sister Luann at 20-1 shot. Yeah, that's Sister Luann might be a pain in the ass. And the 8.
You go in a mile in the 16th, and the problem, Alan, and this is the problem. I mean, I like that you got Jose Ortiz on this horse because this track is tricky at a mile and a 16th. If you look at the configuration, that on the mile and 16th, that turn comes quick. So you got to get a little pace going out of that turn. You know what I mean?
Excellent point. Excellent point.
That its positioning is in that respect that really throws out the 4 in a way, and
Wow.
and you like and that actually, and even fluff. Was it Fluffy Socks that we like? No, was that the one?
Yes, for the 7 we like. Yeah,
Yeah,
Fluffy.
even Fluffy Socks has got to it's got to work a trip too. Let me just put down a message. I got to call you back. Can I call you later? Yeah, that turn is an important turn. It's tricky. It's tricky, Al. What else do we like here? Didier.
The one
got
thing,
a,
one thing
Didier
about
got a
Didier,
74 rating, on an early pace. So Jose's going to bring this horse out and position this horse. No way he's going to stick back. You know what I mean?
and
So
Jose's good at
in that case, I kind of like the 9.
The 9, and another thing about the 9, Didier, undefeated, 3 for 3 at this distance.
Yeah.
And it's run its fastest race at this distance. So it's right in its wheelhouse here.
Yeah. So I think we're going with our horses. I think that we said that's the 4, the 7. The 4, the 4's got to come running late at a mile. Think about it, at a mile and a 16th. It don't happen a lot. That finish line comes really quick. Well, no, it doesn't. Actually, here it comes a little bit later, but it's not so easy here.
And this one is going a little shorter than it did when it ran that big race.
Yeah, he's going.
Had more time to come up last race.
Saya's got to get a perfect
next.
ride on this horse. Huh?
Okay, I'm going to just make a note, DIST distance here. And you can see what I'm doing. I'm working off my notes here.
Yeah.
Bobby. I'll just show you these here. I didn't handicap the whole card, but if you see on the left side, on the right side here, I got the pace ones I like. And on the left side, I have the win contenders in order. So, and so, and I see you got your notes there too. So,
well,
I just made a notation on this note here. I made a notation on the note here from what you were just talking about with the turn and the distance. I just wrote DIST above the 4 to keep an eye on that and keep that in mind. It looks almost like and it's going to take money, but it might be a very vulnerable money in this case.
Yeah, we have to say that, we have to, just point out that, these horses run to class. So you got to give the 7, you got to give Chat Brown's horse a chance, and you got to give, well, Stone Age just had that tremendous number, and, but they run to class, as you were saying,
Stone Age, that is number.
No, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong race.
Okay.
I'm in the wrong race.
Yeah, I think we can't go past here in the running to class.
Star Fortress, the 4. He ran such a big number last time. We can't discount him, although he cuts back and he's got to get position. That could be a little bit tough, at this track, But I mean, he does have grade 3s here, and but I do like I tell you, I like Jose's horse here. I for some crazy reason, I like Chad Brown. I would say I'd say a 7-9 exact. Hey, listen, the 2 brothers. I always say it, the 2 brothers.
And you know what the thing about the 4 is, and you got the Ortiz brothers. If you throw out the 0 that this 4 ran last race, from its races that ran overseas, none of the races come close to it. He falls anywhere recently between 6s and 7s, and both Ortiz brothers, the 7 and the 9, are both running considerably faster than that. So was that just one freak occurrence? The horse comes to the country and runs its great race?
The horse was running in Europe with 132 pounds on him, 133 pounds, 127 pounds. Now he drops down
to 120.
120. So the horse is really see the stars, can't be discounted. But my feeling on this one is that the trip, he's got to make a trip. He's got no pace and early pace, and he's got to figure this out. Saya's got to figure this one out. Whereas our other 2 horses, our 7 and our 9, got a little bit more positioning, the 2 brothers,
And nice prices too.
Yeah. So, I mean, whatever. I think 7. I say 9-7 and maybe the 4, but I like the 9-7 exacta here.
The Ortiz brothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. On to race number. Anything else for this?
No, all I'll say is
Good.
that
I'm good.
I want to just say that to everyone that you have to make decisions. You can't play them all. It's you just can't cover everything. And that was my Breeders' Cup thing, trying to cover everything. And I do it all the time, but you really got to make definite decisions. You lose, you walk away. You win, and you collect. And that's the way it is. Do you know what I mean, Alan?
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better. Okay, on to race. On that race, I'm definitely gonna. I think I'm gonna use 479. I'd hate to leave the 4 out and it runs into the
Yeah.
giant race, but those are the only 3. I'm not gonna go past those. And I'm thinking that 7-9, all considered, is a nice exacta with the Ortiz brothers. Not just because of them, but they certainly help. It's because of the horses and the breedings and the numbers. Everything seems lined up for those 2 this race.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Race number 11. Let me bring that up and let's talk about it. This is another one. Go ahead, Bob.
Well,
Go ahead.
I don't think you can go too far here. I mean, I think Bob has a very good hand here. Bob Baffert has a very good hand.
I like the 1 too.
He's a speed demon. He's a speed demon. This horse.
Yeah, this is the one. This race is a 1 mile. It's a G3, the Fred W. Hooper Stakes, and it's a grade 3, and it's for the guys, the male horses, and 4 and up. Okay, is that what it says? 4 and up? I don't see limited to 4 and up. Anyway, cut into the chase. It's 1 mile on the dirt. And the one thing that I'm looking at, even when it did run 1 mile and a 16th, I mean, damn near, it ran a nice race at Santa Anita, and it was leading for a while and faded with Mike Smith to finish 4th, 4 1/4 back. But now it's asked to go 1 mile, but it's 7 furlongs in that. It's just really very fast early. Doesn't need the lead, but do you think this one can be beat, though? I mean, the 1, that's my top choice as well. Baffert, Hajiza. You said Needy say more, Bob Baffert and Flavian Pratt. Is it?
I don't know. I'm not really a dirt expert, but boy, this is a pretty good horse. Paid $3 million for him. And
holy crap! Thanks.
He's going into a $150,000 race. So maybe he's just better than $3.5 million. Maybe he's just better than all these horses. That's my feeling. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Maybe he's just 10 times better than all these horses. So, I mean, Fletcher has he's got Johnny V on the 2.
Yeah, that one has a little bit of speed. But I mean, it ran really quick early last race. If it runs that quick early like it did at Belmont, going all the way back to May, but that was at 1 mile and it got toasted. I mean, they ran too quick early. Who was the riding it that day? Carmouche, second tier, third tier jockey, and ran its eyeballs out early and then faded and finished 17 back. But they say he bobbled at the start. Maybe he had to rush up early to get into it. It's kind of quick early. I don't have him as one of my.
What's your feeling on the 8 horse?
He's my second choice, and I'll tell you why.
You could throw out that muddy track on that muddy track. You could throw out, on at Aqueduct on December 2nd. I mean, and look at the other races.
Yeah, and even that wasn't terribly bad. He got stuck 5 wide that day, but the other races are just exemplary. Has the very good speed figures. He's running all ones right down the line here, right from the first time he started. He's not going to be part of the pace, that's for sure. I see the pace going through 1, 9, and 11.
I just don't think this 8 horse is my second choice. I mean, I think that he's got experience and he's not a bad horse. You know, he's got Irod Ortiz on him. It's 5-1. Chad Brown. We're looking value here. You know,
What are the odds on the 8?
5-1.
5-1. I actually have a co-choice for second.
Got to add a
And-
practical joke. Got to Into Mischief.
Oh my God, that's breeding.
And I like the owner, Klarovich.
Oh, you mentioned Klarovich for one of our earlier races.
Yeah.
Okay. I had a co-second choice. I have a dash next to him, and I have a dot next to this horse. Number 3 is actually my co-favorite for second place between the 3 and the 8. I'm torn between those two. That's the Saffie Joseph Jr. No, Bobby DeBona. This horse is a couple of really nice races here at this track.
Right.
The last 2 races stick out. I mean, in the races it ran in March and March and April 1st are, I mean, those 4 races that it ran at Gulfstream, and even if you go back to December of 2022, those 5 races are the best 5 races that it's run in its career, and all of them have been here.
What's the number on this horse?
Number 3, Steel Sunshine.
Well, what's the number, like the Thorograph number on this horse?
Okay, last 2 races are 1-1, and the earlier races this year were 1-2, and the 2022 race was a 1. So he has 4 1s and a 2. I mean, and it's all on this track.
Not a bad trifecta box for $2, 183.
What are the odds on the 3? I'm looking them up now.
You got 6-1 odds on this one.
Yeah, I'm looking at it at the track. No, it goes back further. At the distance, it's 4 for 7 at the distance, with a third and 4 wins and 13 tries here at this track in the money 9 of 13. I got to use this one. It finished 2 and change, 2 1/4 back at G3 level. It did run G1. Is that a G1 in Churchill on May 6th? Finished 7th way back. Ortiz was riding it.
Yeah.
Just by the numbers, I got to use it. I got to use it. Now we're talking about the 3 and the 8 throwing a lot of 1s up there. These 2. Now I want to talk about the 1 horse. What is his Thorograph numbers? His last 2 numbers are 1s as well. We're both at Santa Anita, so
they're
even
1s
at the G1 level. I think the 1 is he a lock? You're kind of close to. He's going to take money. I'm just trying to see if anybody can press him on the pace.
Flavin's going to get him out of there, and he's going to try to do his best. Excuse me a second, Alan. I have to just be right back.
Okay, Bobby, I'm going to pause this a second. Okay. So take your time. I'm going to step away for a minute too.
I got to hit the head, Bobby.
Okay, so this 11th race, I think the 1 is going to win. I think this is Baffert's, maybe his big day here of the year so far. The 1 is going to be tough to beat, and either the 3 or the 8, they have a puncher's chance, better than a puncher's chance to get it done. And because the 9 and the 11 and maybe even the 2 might press the 1 a little early, and it hasn't won at the distance from what I can see. I just want to double check those 3 at the distance.
Got to look at the workouts on the 1 horse.
Oh yeah, incredible! 3rd of 100, 59 and 2.
I mean, he's working lights out basically. 1 and 9 in December.
Yeah, another bullet there.
He's never tested horses. Bernardini at AP G Note with Medaglia d'Oro. He's got good breeding, and
out of the
they
1,
paid almost $4 million for this horse. So you know, what I mean, think about it, $4 million for a horse. Wow.
Yeah, and it's coming out of G1, so this is a class drop to the G3 level. Yeah, so I like 1 best, and then 3-8, and you the same thing. I guess you said.
I like 1-8, 1-8, 1-8-3.
Okay,
those 3. I would box those.
Okay, so now we'll take a look at race number 12, and then, of course, the 13th is a big one where Bob Baffert has the morning favorite, National Treasure. But first things first, the 12, it's a G1. Now, this should be a doozy. They have a $1 million purse. It's the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational for 4-year-olds, and we got a damn good filly in here who opens as the favorite, number 9 in Warm Heart. What do you think about this one,
I
Robert?
think this horse, I'm not going to try to get fancy, is going to be very, very tough to beat. She's going to be tough to beat, carrying 118 pounds. She is going to be tough to beat. She has
That's a big
speed.
weight break, 5 pounds. That's worth a length,
I mean,
a couple of lengths at this distance.
when she ran at shot 10, she was right there at the finish line at shot 10, three and a half off of these horses. This shot 10 race, I think it's open to. I don't think it's a filly race. I think it's an open race. Yeah, because she's carrying 117. She went against the boys at shot 10, came in a credible third. I mean, to me, it's just like, I love Aiden's. This horse, I was thinking about it, is my choice of the horses. Now, that being said, and I like the horse because, the horse has tactical speed to rate, and it's going to go out there. Has great stamina out of Galileo, and is cutting back. And I'll tell you something else. If you look at the races,
huge.
the cutback is huge, because you go from a mile and a half, a mile and a half, a mile and a half. Finally, Aiden puts him in a race that's what? It's a mile and an eighth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mile and eighth. I think that this distance to a mile and a quarter is the distance for this horse. I think it's the perfect distance for this horse. Just saying, just perfect distance. I love Warm Heart because of that little bit of a cutback too. So now, that being said, I would go to a few other horses. One of them is King Max with Egan on him, the 6 horse.
Okay.
Kingman, we had mentioned this yesterday. Egan is a European jockey. He's very good. We watched some of the races, the Fort Lauderdale. He was right there, lost by a head. Gets position 6, and we got 12-1.
Unbelievable.
12-1, which is pretty good, right? We want a little bit of value. We're not getting that with the 9. And that's one of my choices. And of course, my brother was telling me, Integration's got to prove. He has to prove himself as a 4-year-old, but I know he's only run 3 races, but boy, that last race, that was pretty impressive at a mile and an eighth.
G2 event won by 5. Holy crap.
Yeah,
Undefeated this Integration.
That was pretty impressive, that race. So, I mean, I can't discount Shog's horse. I mean, I think that day I did discount him and I lost, to tell you the truth.
Okay.
Only because I remember, because he only raced twice at Colonial. And I said, Colonial, what's that? But it seemed like this is a quality horse. Of the home horses, I think this is the best American chance.
Okay. Yeah.
I was saying the Walmart.
This is a 700K horse.
Yes. The 9. I'm saying the 9, the 6, and 9, 6, and 3. That's what I say. What do you say here?
Well, I have the 9 as my top choice, and I think we discussed this race pretty heavily last night. We put some time into it, probably almost 45 minutes or so. I don't know.
You were tired. You were tired, man.
No, yesterday when I went off, I had just done a show and I did.
Yeah, sure.
Actually, I went 20 hours, and I'll tell you what, I slept almost 6 hours through, which is a lot for me. I got up at 7 in the morning, totally refreshed, but I was intrigued too. And we really covered that. And that 3, undefeated, 700K, gets Tyler Gaffalione. It's actually a jockey upgrade from Carmouche. And Gaffalione did ride this one at Colonial, and broke its maiden first out by 6.5. Keeps getting better. And I'm going to go to the Thoroughgraph for a second. Now, the 9 who we like best doesn't have the best Thoroughgraph numbers. It's close, but you're getting the weight break. So if you include the weight break, it's tied for the best numbers. And okay, we're talking about 12. Let me just bring them up. Just give you an idea what the sheets say here for this race. 3. He's running 3s, which are a very low number. And even if it's maiden, he ran a 5, but that was a shorter race. Now
If you get a little soft ground, I'm just saying, by this race, if it does rain and you get soft ground, this horse is going to run tremendous. The 9.
Right. Now, is that because they used to running softer grounds?
No, you just got to look at his line. I'm looking good to firm, good to soft, good to firm. He likes good to firm, good to soft. He's got to win at good to firm.
I see it.
This horse won the Prix Vermal in Longchamp. That's a grade 1 race. Hello.
Wow.
That's a great one race.
You got the connections, Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore together. I mean,
it's
yeah, these two guys come over here and they push everyone around when they get into the States. But this time they also have the horse to do it.
Yeah, this horse is a good horse. I mean, you can't throw him out. Galileo, I mean, Fastnet Rock, Sea Siren, Coolmore bred.
And now we're going to go back to King Max a second. He has a couple of races, including on a good track here at Gulfstream, where he's run a couple of 3s. So he's right up there as far as top sheet numbers with the 3. Yeah. And you got the breeding of Kingman, which is one of the best sires over there, who's out of Great Britain, Kingman. I mean, you look at his sires, what he's in the money at. What this one, 5 and up, he's in the money 46% of the time. Wins at an 18% clip, I mean 15% clip. But then by the numbers in the breeding, this one is tremendous. And he has run at this track at 1 1/8 miles. And this is the last race was at this distance, and he lost by a head in a G2 race.
Yep, Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, and you did watch the replay of that race of the 6.
Very game.
So I see this as going through 9 the best, and 3 and 6 are a virtual coin flip for second. But 3 or 6 can win. I'll use all 3 of them.
Yeah, I mean, the 3 is a damn good horse. I mean, got great. He just could be the best, the very best. But I mean, it's hard to get past. Aiden's horse is just a world-class horse that's won world-class races, and in shot 10. The horse was there. Now, of course, there are longer races, and now the horse cuts back. So what do I say? I say, well, the horse cuts back, but the horse has positional speed too. The horse likes to get up there, and that can only help this horse. He doesn't hang back. She doesn't hang back, this horse. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
She gets in the mix of things. She did it at the Breeders' Cup, and she did it at shot 10 also.
Okay.
You understand? The horse has early pace.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, with the early pace and the less distance, the horse is the better for the horse. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it only lost the Breeders' Cup by a freaking neck.
Yeah. But, I mean, Ryan's going to get out, and and if we look at the position of the track, he's going to take the horse out and try to mix him in there, get him on the rail.
He'll certainly be in the mix early.
Yes. As to how he
might even be on the lead. Sure. Do you think he can take this one to the lead?
He could. At 1 1/8 miles, he could. Right? He could take it to the lead. Yeah, he could. If he doesn't take it to the lead, I mean, he sits third. I mean, I'd love to.
Yeah, man, maybe that's where he wants to do this.
I don't think Ryan's going to hang back with this horse. I think Ryan's going to take her out and go. And he might. And you're right. He might try to put him to sleep, and it's not impossible. He's done it before.
I'm curious how he's going to handle that. Does he go to the front or just lay back? I think he's good either way. There's one I wanted to mention here that has some excellent sheet numbers that fit this race like a glove, and it's a big price. comes out of 2 G1s. Number 10, Cheryl Spate. Louis Saez up. And
Yeah.
he did in a G1, 2 back at Woodbine. He finished second in a G1, 3 3/4 back. By the numbers, in Dubai, he ran a strong race in the finished fourth, only 2 3/4 back. By the sheet numbers, this one Cheryl Spate is a competitor to at least get on the board at a price 15 to 1. What do you think anything about that one?
Well, we got to take into consideration the
Good closing kick.
The added distance is what I'm not sure about.
Yeah, he's 0 for 2 at the distance.
That's the distance.
This one seems to be locked in at a mile as its main. The last 5 races have been at exactly a mile. Never raced here.
Okay. You look at the 11 horse. I mean, I'm just saying, Castellano has no other choice. The 11 main event and has got a 107 early pace rating. He has no other choice but to bang out with this horse. He may try to go wire to wire like he did.
This is the one that's probably, and he does come off a good race that does kind of.
I don't think he's going to get it so easy this time. I don't think he's going to have it so easy. I don't know.
No, I don't think he's going to get the paces, get the front as easy. And he did win on a slightly moist track here at Gulfstream by a head. He won his last 2 races by a head. That's Castellano and Weaver. You were mentioning it. Weaver is a sneaky trainer. And sneaky in what way, Robert?
Well, he always, if you look at he's got 6 wins so far this meet, which is a lot better than Chad and a lot better than.
Okay, sneaky in a good way. I know you meant it in a good way from what you said.
Yeah, he always puts in some good horses. And let's face it, he's a very competitive trainer.
18% here, yeah. That's going back over 700 races.
I think this horse has a lot to do here.
Yeah, he's going to
try to hang on late. He's going to try to hang on late. But he's going against some grade 1 horses, so let's not discount that either.
I think you'd hit the nail on the head, Robert. This one is his only chance, and by the pace charts I'm looking at, this one is going to go to the front and just try and catch me if you can. That's his only chance.
Yeah.
Okay, I like 9 best, and I'm going to use all 3 of these in multi-race
like the
plays.
9,
3, and 6. Just in case one of them doesn't fight, and we're getting a price on that 6 King Max, and I can't go past those 3 for the top spot. I'd look for underneath and tries or whatever, maybe even exactas, maybe the 10 underneath at a big
You're not
price.
getting
5
across the board. You're not really getting a lot of value, although, that Jose Ortiz horse was interesting at 6 to 1. Didia, you're getting a little bit more value, but you're not getting a lot of value, across the board so far. I'm just saying, the
2 we talked about the 10 for a second, and the other one you might want to consider that's 15 to 1. If you're going deep for maybe a try or you're a super player, or maybe even an exacta, is Cassie's horse, number 5, Web Slinger, opens 15 to 1. This one is 1 for 2 at Gulfstream with a win and a second and 2 tries. And at the distance has 3 tries, a first, a second, and a third. Has the 5th highest Brisnet power ranking. Has a big early kick. I don't know if I mean, it closed really well. 3 out of the last 4. He's going to be coming. 5, you're getting 15 to 1. Will he win? Probably not. But his numbers are, just a little bit below the big 3, the 1, 3, and 8. But it is a closing style. But other than that, I can't see past 1, 3, not 9 best and 3, 6. I'm going to use all 3, 6, and 9. Maybe go a little heavier with the 9, or maybe go 3, 6, 9. I'll probably go equal and see what happens from there. Do you have any? What do you think, Bobby?
No, you're right about a Web Slinger. This is not a bad. I'm looking at him now. He's not a bad horse. I mean, he's got Mark Cassie, and Cassie is 13 for, well, he's 74 starts. He's got 13 wins, and
He's always around the finish line. Look
yeah,
at that finishes. He's in the money. He's even when he loses by a
gets
neck.
Diaz today instead of
He's running
Gaffnell.
4 straight G1, 3 out of 4 G1s. I mean, he lost the last 2 G1s by a neck and a head. I'm just wondering why Castellano's not on this one. Why go to Zayas? I guess Castellano is wedded to the 11. Yeah, he rode that the last time in a victory, and I guess he's given Weaver more weight than Cassie. I don't know.
Nothing. Your horse here is not without a chance. I mean, he has a bit of second-itis.
Yes,
He has a bit of second-itis, so
good for the exotics at a price.
yeah.
And the breeder is let's see, Keith Ramsey. Oh, well, okay.
Kenny Ramsey, yeah.
Okay, I'm 369. 369 are the three I'm going to use in multi-race plays. Maybe I'll do something with maybe a spread exacta underneath, including the 5 and the 10, and I won't go 3 deep. I don't think, or maybe even a super, cheap super 9 over 3, 3, 5, 6, 10 down, and then put 9 second. I don't see 9 coming in worse than second here, and put those. I don't know. I think I'll just focus on 369 to get it done for the win here. Anything else to add for that 12th race?
No, I like 963, 936. Straight $10 trifectas. Just give it a shot. You got to make choices. You walk away, you lose. Listen. We got to tell all the fans out here, man. This is the fun of choosing the right horse, looking at the times, looking at the breeding. We're having fun looking at, like Alan likes the thoroughgraph numbers. It's like figuring out like a chess game. Are we trying to become millionaires here? We're not. We're not trying to become millionaires. It's like a game of chess to us. Yes, it's nice to wager and to win. Of course, we all do want to win big prizes, but we want to have fun is the thing. Do your best and have fun. Make some choices. If you don't win it, then you walk away. If I win that $10 trifecta, it'll be a nice little hit. I'm not being greedy. It's just a nice little hit. You're not being, you know what I'm saying, Alan?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to tell everyone.
Absolutely, and you raise an excellent point here. You really get not the being right is a big part of the thrill of horse racing.
That is it, man.
Landing on a horse, and if you're using like every horse in the field, how can you really say you had a handle on the race? But if you can narrow it down and get that horse or a horse or two home, and then you got those, you were right. You were on the horse and you had specific reasons. So, and yeah. Okay, so we'll go on to the main event. And that is the 13th race here. It is the $3 million Pegasus World Cup. It's a G1, of course. Pegasus World Cup Invitational Stakes, $3 million for 4-year-olds and up. Okay, and Bob Baffert, it comes in with his Preakness winner. He serves, comes back first time back to Triple Crown Racing, wins the Preakness with National Treasure, and just got beat in a mile to Cody's Wish, who did win Horse of the Year in the Breeders' Cup Mile. Just lost by a nose, actually. And congratulations to Cody's Wish and the trainer Brad Cox and all the connections. Brad Cox won Trainer of the Year, but National Treasure just missed. And keep in mind, that's a hell of an accomplishment, finishing second by a nose to Cody's Wish, because National Treasure was only a 3-year-old at the time. So he was going up against older, fully mature. When you're talking about a 3-year-old versus a 4-year-old and up, I think, what was Cody's Wish, a 5-year-old or something? It's like talking about a teenage guy going up against a fully mature man. So it's a hell of an accomplishment. And now National Treasure has
Want us to remember that this horse won the Preakness also.
Yes. And now it's added, it's had its rest. It is firing some bullets. Work first to 55 on January 13, 59 and 3. So he's more mature, developed physically. The horses age, they mature quickly between, say, late 3.5-year-old and, till just over 4. A lot of maturing going on. So you figure this one's going to be getting better. Well, what do you think about this race, Bob? Do you think this is a slam dunk, National Treasure? It's over. Cash the money now. Go out there and make.
I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert on the dirt. I do like National Treasure. I think that there are a couple of horses in here that are pretty tricky. Okay, and I think I'll point them out. I think the horse to point out, if there is the 4-horse Hoist the Gold.
Wow, I don't even have that one. Okay, go ahead. Tell me about. Wait a second, I do have that on the list.
You do have him.
Go ahead, but at the back end, but you can't leave him out. Go ahead.
This
Tell
horse
me what you like.
it ran lights out on the. I know it was the mud, but Dallas Stewart's got this horse primed. 59, 1-27, 47. This horse is primed to go. And Mine Shaft. It's far too sharp to ignore. That's what the notes say here.
I'm going to give you a figure, and I'm going to then go ahead.
What is his thorograph numbers?
That's the thing. You can't leave this one out. Get this. We're going to talk about the lower the number for the sheets, the faster the race, right?
Right.
And of course, you get down to 0. And then when you get into negative numbers, that's when you're getting nuts. That's ultra fast. Now, we'll give National Treasure ran his best race last race, and he ran a 0, just slightly on the negative side. But he ran his best career race. He ran a 0 by the sheets. Do you know what the 4 ran last race? A -4.
Holy cow. Now, granted, he's 12 to 1.
-4. I mean, you know what that is? That is, I think the only horse that I've seen recently that's been faster is White Abario, who ran a -5. This one ran a negative. If a repeat of this race, the last race, and it's over. What are the chances of it doing that? You said it ran it in the mud at a mile. It definitely has early pace. But if you go 2 back, it ran a -0.3. So it's not like this one's a stranger to running exceptionally fast races. And what are the odds of it, too? I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds? 12 to 1?
Got to go a mile and an eighth. Okay. He does stretch out. He does stretch out from those prior races and what you're saying. But if you look at the way he ran in that Aqueduct race, this has had plenty of steam to go. He had plenty more in his pocket.
I see the closing pace. He was still going fast. Yeah.
Yeah. In hand, 2 posts, drew clear. He drew clear. He looked like he can go around the track another time. So, I mean, and then that being said, if the 4 and the 7, it's going to be hard. If they get into this pace duel,
I think they will.
I think the 6-horse is the horse that is tricky, and Junior Alvarado will be waiting in the wings to pick up the pieces. Senor Buscador
has a great closing kick.
Senor Buscador.
And he has excellent numbers too, thorograph numbers.
He's running.
He's run 4 zeros in a row. That's faster than National Treasure.
Yep. He's going a mile and an eighth.
And his last race at Aqueduct was a -2, which is really the second fastest in this race other than the 4.
Yes.
And he's 20 to 1.
And he was moving up on National Treasure, and now we stretch out. And we have a rider, Junior Alvarado, on this horse.
Alvarado.
He wants to have a speed duel, has to develop.
This one's certainly develop.
Yeah, if the speed duel develops, this horse will pick up the pieces. And guess what, Alan?
What's that, Robert?
20 to 1.
I can't get over that. I mean, it doesn't run a bad race, and I can't. He's actually my 6th choice.
This could be the horse. If you play that multi, This could be the horse you put in there at 20-1. If he stays up there at 20-1, that can bring you, like, catapult you into some big numbers. That's what I'm saying. You know,
Let's put it this way. This is going to be a spread race for me, and I'm using both the 4 and the 6 in the win spot. And what the odds on the 4, I think, were 12-1. This is 20-1. And we know you got to use National Treasure, but he's not the fastest in here out of this group. I mean, he has the great early speed, but there are others like the 4 that can go with him.
You know, he's a quality road. He's a quality road. I mean, we got a quality road. We got Hoist the Goal out of Mine Shaft. Good horse, Mine Shaft. I love the Mine Shaft. Out of Tacit Approval, Tap It. Good breeding. And you got at Senior Buscador is another Mine Shaft. Another Mine Shaft out of AP Indy. So, wow, it's won almost $100,000. Wow, pretty good horse.
So we've talked about 3 of them here that really look solid, and 2 of them are prices.
We need to pick up the pieces.
I want to bring up one. What's that?
Go ahead. Bring up the one you want. Yeah, go ahead.
One I want to bring up who has multiple, now it's at a smaller track, multiple -2 numbers, really fast races. -2s, -1s, 0s on the sheets. Number 1, Nimitz Class. And look at it, it's winning races. I know at a lower level, does the horse know what class it's in? But by the numbers, this one is just as fast as anybody in.
Horses can't read.
Yeah, Nimitz Class, it gets the Zayas up. I'm looking at the numbers, -2, 0, -1, 0, -2, -2, -2, -2. Granted, these -2s are coming up at tracks like Parks and Laurel. But to put things into perspective, National Treasure never hit -1 before, and this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 -2s. I mean, these are really fast numbers, and he gets for the rail. And I'm looking down his running line. His worst race recently was his last. He came in 3rd. The previous bunch of them, we finished 1st or 2nd in all of them. I don't know, underneath maybe.
I'm not sure on this horse. I got to look at the class of the horses. You know, like the caliber.
The class, he's not there with the others.
Caliber rival, you know,
but he's not that far away.
One.
He's not that far away.
Yeah,
this is a competitive race, Bob.
Yeah. Well, listen, you're getting a great 20-1. I can't talk you down on a 20-1 horse. You never know.
I could see spreading wide here.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, let's put it this way. This one has better numbers than the 2. The 2, O'Connor, who has nice numbers. He comes off 1 negative in his last race, but 2 opens 8-1.
Yeah.
And 12 has good races, just got beat by National Treasure. And I think the extra distance is going to help the 12. I have 6 horses here that I can make an argument for the win spot. 2, and I'll list them in order: 2, 7, 12, 6, 1, 4. And the 4 has that -4 last race. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to really land on.
I just going to focus on the Hoist the Gold, Senior Buscador, and National Treasure. Those are my 3.
4, 6. Okay. 4, 6, 7. And you can't go wrong with those because you're getting prices on those. You have a 20-1 in there, and you have a 14-1 there who has a couple of big negative numbers, including the -4. And you got the breeding there you were talking about. And Johnny V up. He's no stranger to winning. Johnny V won 2 G2 events aboard number 4, the Cigar and the Phoenix over at Keeneland, prestigious races.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, Alan. So
and it comes off a bullet workout on the 18th for 59-2. First of 11, ran a bullet on the January 2nd, first of 27, 47-1. And get this workout on November 24th, first of 46, 47-1. I mean, this one has 3 out of 4 bullets in a row, including the last one. This one's ready to roll. Do you think we even get 12-1 on this one?
I'm not sure you're going to get 12-1 on him. You know, I mean, I think he's going to be the wise guy horse for sure.
And he did beat the 6 in the last race.
I'm just hoping they can, you know, that the pace breaks down maybe, and Senior Buscador could pick up the pieces.
So Senior Buscador, Heist the Gold, and they completed the exacta. Your 4 and 6. Heist the Gold was first, and Senior Buscador was second in the last race.
Yeah,
and it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting, this race, and I think this Senior Buscador is helped by the distance here of this race. The last race was a mile for this one, and he does have that closing kick. Holy crap, the 6. All right. So in this race, I'm going to spread. I could see myself going. I may throw out the 12. I don't know. But even the 12 has some really nice numbers, sheet numbers. Skippy Longstocking making its first start as a 6-year-old. Maybe I'll go away from it. But it does have 3 wins at Gulfstream and 7 at the distance. I just want to mention some of the numbers, and then we're going to move on there. It's a very clean horse, but you know what? I don't like the. I think I'm going to move past this one here. It's not lights out. I think I'm going to leave the 12 out of that one.
It's just a horrible post, Alan.
That's it. Yeah,
the start is right. The start is where the finish is in this race. So you need to have tactical speed because you're going to hit that turn in a second.
Okay, so
it starts at the finish line here in this race. So you know that Hoist the Gold in the 4 post is going out, and Flavin is not going to let him get away. And it's going to be 4-7, and we're just hoping that the 6 could pick up the pieces.
Yeah, and he benefits from that pace duel. And I just want to check if there's one other who we know the 4 and the 7 are going to be part of the pace duel. As far as the others to go that might show some pace, I think that's it. That's the pace. It's going to be those 2 to the front turn.
Yep.
All right. So I'll probably spread deep here with this race. I'll use all of these in a multi-race play or work or spin off these. The 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. That's 5. And I'll probably put together a 50-cent pick 3 or something and work off of that there. We'll see, but those are the ones. And you're on the 4 and 6 at nice prices. 4 is 12.
4, 7, 6, 4, 6, 7.
4, 6, 7.
And then I would say 6, 6, 4, 7, 6, 7, 4. You know.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, National Treasure is a good horse, but I kind of favor Hoist the Gold over National Treasure. You know.
Oh, by the numbers, absolutely. So we'll see, though. The races aren't run as on paper as you and
that horses can't read, like you said, you know.
Yeah. Oh, Bobby, I want to thank you so much for joining us today.
Alan, it was a pleasure to be with you once again and to go over these horses. I guess the next time we might be at the Florida Derby time, maybe.
Yeah. That'll be probably the next big race. Yeah, we usually cover some of the big ones.
Yeah.
Florida Derby. Yeah, we're heading into
and by then you'll have your Kentucky Derby hopefuls by the Florida Derby. I picked Madge based on the Florida Derby form.
I remember that last year. That was a hell of a call, Bobby.
Yeah, but that was out of the Florida Derby, so it's a good testing ground. This Florida, the Gulfstream Park, it's a very good testing ground. I don't think it's like Brain Science this week. I think there's it could be a lot of chalk wins, and then maybe you get lucky with a horse like Jose's riding, and or Frankie Dettori. You get lucky with one of the other horses, and just got to have racing luck.
Mm-hmm. King Max. So we got some interesting long ones in here in this mix, and the 13th was definitely no exception to that. So I want to wish everyone a lot of luck, and Robert, thanks again for joining us, and I want to wish everyone good luck. And hopefully you get some winners here on this show. Share this with your racing friends.
Yes.
And, you can go. This is a video you can go back to a few times because we're releasing this on a on a Friday evening
Right.
early. We plan to get this
I
out
guess,
there.
you know, for value plays, you know, like my value play, the play that I really, you know, like for value would be I'm just going to say race 10, race 10. And in race 10, we would go with the 9 horse in race 10 as a value play. A value play in race 10 is the 9 at 6-1. Of course, we did like the 7 too. I put them two together. And of course, we like the 3. But the Didier is a nice value play. Also, in this 8th race, our value play was the 7 Verstappen.
Very good value, yeah.
Verstappen is a value play. Other than that, you know, it's a little chalky with Warm Heart and the others. Warm Heart in being that King Max, we said not out of the chances of having it. Warm Heart and what was the other horse? The 3 horse, right? It was a 3 horse, right? Yeah, the 3.
King Max, yeah, that's kind of chalky.
Integration. So we're not, you know, integration's 3-1. He might be even less. So the value play here is King Max, and as I said, we're going up against some really big, good horses. Of course, then you get to that last race, and you say, well, hoist the flag. I don't know if you're going to get 12-1 on him, Alan. You know, but our value plays were with Didier and Verstappen, and putting them together with some other horses. That was
it really lines up for Didier.
You have any value plays that stand out to you?
Well, the Didier one, the 7 is the one there, the same value play in the 8th there. And the Didier, certainly a value play, 3 for 3 at the distance. And the race sets up, the way the track sets up. The 9 looks very, very strong in that race, 3 for 3 at the distance. But the numbers and he knows how to get pose for pictures in the winner's circle. You got the jockey in there. I mean, the 4 in that race is going to take a lot of money. It's not going to have an ideal position. We talked about that heading into, going into the turns. And we got the Ortiz brothers on longer one. The 4 opens at 5-2, has outrageous numbers. You can't leave it out. But I could see a 7-9 exacta box there.
Sure,
the Ortiz brothers.
The 2 brothers,
yeah. Sure.
That's a good box.
And as far as other values in here, we talked about Kingman, number 12 to get into the number 6 to get into the mix in the 9th with the 3 and the 9, and maybe even win with the breeding. King Max, Kingman is the sire, very strong sire. And in the last race, the 4 and the 6, I'm with you, Robert. At both long shots, 4 especially at 12-1 and 6 20-1. Are you kidding me? And National Treasure will be tough to beat. And the 1 in there looks like it could definitely hit the board in exotics at 20-1. I don't know about winning. A lot of great sheet numbers. Number 1 in race 13. And
so who you like in 13? You like in 13, you like the 4.
Do I have to land on one?
Yeah.
Oh God! If I had to pick one, I would pick. If I had to pick one, I would pick 4.
Yeah. Well, your Skippy Longstocken's definitely going to go out. That's for sure.
He did with National Treasure the last time, and he he won. What did he finish? 3 back in the.
He's going to go out, and then you're going to have. We might just have that senior Buscador pick up the pieces on everything here.
I could see it. I'm going to use multiple ones for the win spot, and but I will be setting up an exacta or something too here for that race.
If we did let's say as a hypothetical, the 6 over the 4. The 6 over the 4, 7, 4, 7, 12 as a triple key, not that expensive. It's not a bad investment.
6 over the 4, 7, 12. I would get the 1 in there. The only thing that scares me is the 1 and the 2.
Nimitz class, yeah.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
see
I'm
you.
just
Not a,
saying,
yeah,
you
but
know.
no, but wait. Let's go back to yours a second. The 6 over the 4, 7, and 12. You're thinking?
Yeah.
Well, you know, 7 is going to be in the top 3. He's
Yeah.
just such a big speed edge. I
And
can't see
Hoist the
him.
Goal is definitely game horse, you know.
And 4, I think, is going to be. I mean, if 4 misses the board, that would be a real big upset in my eyes.
And your 12 horse ran in the Breeders' Cup, right?
Yes, the Breeders'
So
Cup Mile.
he ran incredibly in that.
Yes, he was right there. What did he get? Third in that race, or he finished 3 back?
You know, I mean, it's not impossible that those could be, you know, the 6 picks up the
He
pieces.
finished third in the Breeders' Cup. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Cody's Wish
I,
won. National
I
Treasure
don't see
second.
Weaver's. I don't see the one horse being a factor here, but if you see it, you know, I don't see.
For positions 3 and 4, maybe 2. It just doesn't miss the board, and it has those negative numbers.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
got
know.
you.
I see first, second going all the way down the line, with the exception of the last race,
Yeah,
where he, yeah, it's a lower class horse. It did come in
yeah,
at second in a G3 at Monmouth in June, but
right.
yeah, I'll spread there. But I think 4 is the one I think is the one to beat in this race.
So I think we covered it. So thank you very much,
Yeah,
Alan.
oh, you're welcome, Robert, and thank you very much. And I want to wish everybody luck. Um, and thanks for joining us. Share it with your friends, everybody. And let's make some money. Bet with your head, not over it. Most of all, have a good time. Have a great, good luck here at Pegasus Cup Day.